Let's face it, punch machines are awesome. Nothing like a game to test your might, to show who out of all your other friends can punch the hardest. Nothing like competitiveness and inflated male egos to create the vibe.
Now stand aside!
They're just useful to see funny shenanigans when people have been drinking. But have you ever noticed something about the design? Something as simple as something that looks like a speedball that hits a pad and measures the strength of the punch. And to be honest, with the speedball's design, you don't need protection for your hands. But what inspired this design? It had to be cheap to produce, and then also be safe enough that you don't need any protection for your hands. So, doing some research, I found Mutoscope and Biograph's Deliver the Punch, Punch a Bag, from 1903. Then we have the more cheaply produced Mills Bag Puncher, from 1926. Then we have Sega's Punching Bag from 1962. However, that date might not be entirely accurate, but we do know that it's from the 1960s. So what we have now is just updated designs of this punching machine. And this design of punching machine has been exploiting the male ego for over 100 years. I will put links to the sources down below in the description. So my speculation is that Taito probably wanted to produce something different from the design that Sega used in the 1960s, and probably found inspiration from somewhere else. So, introducing...
He is greater than anybody else. The man came to save our planet. That's the Sonic Blast Man.
I stole the idea of this video from that one there. My first encounter with this game was when I was very small. I can't remember, I think I was 6, and my older brother could play it, but I couldn't because I couldn't even reach the pad. And I was just in awe watching him play this with his friends. And then also seeing all the other adults, mainly being dads of other kids, playing it. Literally every dad proving who could beat up whose dad by seeing who could throw the strongest punch. It was great to get that sort of entertainment as a kid before you actually watched the movie at the cinema next door. Okay, massive shout out to the Magic Company back in the day when it was still set up at Somerset Mall. Hopefully this video will reach somebody who knows what I'm talking about. And what made this game a lot cooler than these generic punching machines is that you had levels.
Round 1.
Having to beat up a thug. Crime doesn't pay, my dude.
Round 2.
Time to save a baby from a rushing truck. You can't grab the baby in a hurry with our gloves because that's impractical, so instead we take somebody else's life instead. Sorry, lady.
Round 3.
Terrorists have taken over a building. So you gotta punch some walls down. Well, I guess we're killing more people. Hopefully there weren't hostages in there.
Round 4.
Next up, you gotta defeat a giant robotic kaiju crab. Nope, it had to be a giant robotic crab, not a real crab, because we don't want to promote any idea towards animal abuse. And now, we've killed so many people up to this point anyway, and we won't find out where this giant crab monster came from, because it was obviously man-made.
Round 5.
And lastly, a meteor heading for Earth. And in actuality, even though that the meteor might have been destroyed and not like, take the world with it, those fragments of that meteor is probably going to still cause a lot of damage. Saving the world from destruction, but never truly saving the day. So this game actually holds the world record for being the most dangerous arcade game, because it has stacked up so many injuries. But how did this happen, as a glove was supplied with this game? So it looks like nobody actually did a little bit of basic research about boxing and boxing equipment, because this could have all been preventable with just a bit of maintenance. But truth be told, if you're going to commit hitting something that's a bit harder, you need a little bit of protection. But even then, these things wear out over time and they do need to be replaced. So even mitts like this wear out from taking too many punches, and they eventually need to be replaced. So if you're going to prove that you're the hard puncher amongst everyone else, and you really want to test your might, then you are going to cut corners to cheat it. Running into the punch, going barefisted. And going barefisted is kind of counterproductive, because now you're asking for trouble. These things are actually fragile. So, to get more towards the point here, because there wasn't any maintenance upheld on this thing, and people tempting fate, punching barefisted, and committing to punching as hard as they can. So, fortunately, with the design of a metal rod holding a pad, and people committing for a punch with that pad being worn out, or the glove being worn out, maybe even both, when a fist connects with metal, it's not going to end up good. So, to be honest, the glove and this pad should have been checked on a daily basis, because then we wouldn't have this problem. It's just a little bit of quality control to make sure that there's enough padding to ensure safety of the users. So in terms of boxing history, bare knuckle boxers back in the day before Queensberry rules were introduced, they would punch in a certain way to ensure the safety of their fists and wrists, because they were blue collar workers, and it would prevent them from actually working their jobs if they got any hand injuries. But when Queensberry rules was introduced with gloves, the rate of concussions went up, because now boxers could actually commit for those punches. The use of hand wraps and gloves would actually help you commit for stronger punches and ensure the safety of your hands. But over time, the design of gloves have improved, and thus improving safety for these. And you can watch bare knuckle boxing and regular Queensberry rules boxing, and you'll see the difference between the commitment with the punches. The gloves actually do make a difference. Hey, we finally gave these guys something to legitly train for.
Break that hit back.
So now you have these punch machines that I introduced at the beginning of the video, where it's a ball that you can hit that hits a pad. Now, the ball isn't a steel rod, so the need for the glove is not necessary anymore, because the ball is more likely to deflate before you hurt your hand. Only safety issue now with this machine is actually where you place it in the space, making sure that it's not in an area where you can hit a wall. But then also, having a use at own risk warning on the machine also helps. You cannot blame the company that makes the machines stupidity. I do personally think that these machines are more inaccurate now, because you're not hitting a pressure sensor direct. You are hitting a ball that has a bit more give than a metal rod, which actually helps with the safety, but it's the ball hitting the pad that's going to give you the measurement of the power of your punch. So it's the force connecting with one object and then hitting the other. Depending on the quality and the design of the machine, there's a little bit of nitty-gritty there. Of course, how you hit that ball and where that ball hits the pad is going to give you a better score. So there's a bit of accuracy involved. But yeah, at least at the end of the day, you can have more fun with this, because you're not going to hurt yourself. They even made a successor showing clear guidelines on how to use the machine. But even then, I don't think that would stop anybody. When this arcade game was at the height of its popularity, a British game show called Game Masters even hosted Frank Bruno to demonstrate how to use this machine. And I think it's pretty damn cool that they actually used a professional boxer to do this. Okay, cool. So I think you're going to find this just as cool as what I did. This episode of Game Masters, they had this celebrity challenge thing. So you could actually go one-on-one with Frank Bruno in this game. Pretty obvious that Frank Bruno won. But yeah, just something I thought that was really cool. And if you don't know who Frank Bruno is, he is a British former professional boxer. He has a total of 45 fights, 40 wins, and 5 losses. 38 of those wins were by ways of knockout. He fought and unfortunately lost to Mike Tyson. But what I think was also cool is that, you know, Mike Tyson had his punch-out game, and then you had Frank Bruno boxing, which was a game that was very similar. So very cool combat sport and video game history there. And well, seeing that we basically got to a point, this is the end of the video. So, have you ever played this game growing up? Or were you just too young and you saw everybody else play it? Let me know in the comment section below. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, look after yourself and take care. Peace.